Yeah, welcome back everyone to this channel. Hope you guys are doing okay. And then how has the economics been treating you guys in your respective schools? Yeah, right. So in today's class, we'll be looking at a particular topic titled the optimization of three variable Cobb-Douglas function. So I think the ones that are most common are the optimizations of two variable Cobb-Douglas functions. So it was last year, I think sometimes last year or no, that should be last year, that I came across something like this, and it's not as if it's difficult anyway. Yeah. So how do we go about this question? So given the following function below, q is 50, k raised by 0.4, l raised by 0.2, r raised by 0.2. Now the first question says, what returns to scale is this firm experiencing? Yeah, and then B says if the business is using the inputs in that order, KLR, capital labor and um, capital capital labor and land. Yeah, R stands for land. So L is labor, then R is for land. So if the business is using um, that inputs combination in capital is 100, labor is 500 units, then RM is 1000 units. Is the firm maximizing output produced, given that the respective prices of these factors of production are given as 80 for capital, 12 for labor, and then 10 for the rent paid on land? And then the budget of the company is 24,000 naira. So you might be a consultant and then consulting for this organization, and then you are trying to help them with efficiency, how to make the best use of their resources. So and you have this problem. They are already producing, so there is already an input combination that they are using, and then you being the more informed person that you have to now advise them if the input combination that they are using is actually the best, the most efficient, or if it isn't. All right, so that's like the essence of what we are trying to do. So now we are going to use the Cobb-Douglas function, the optimization process to solve this. All right, so if you have the first one says returns to scale. So returns to scale is basically a feature of long run. Yeah. So you have returns to scale in the long run because returns to scale on its own is saying that is a concept that relates to the change in all the factors of production that lead to a change in output produced. The change in all factors of production that lead to a change in output produced. So in the short run, you have some of your factors of production as fixed, so you can't change all of them. So and if in the definition of returns to scale, you're already having a change in all factors of production, so it simply means that your factors of production are variable. Yeah. So and it's only in the long run that you have factors of production being variable. Now we now have three types of returns to scale. You could have an increasing returns to scale, you could have a decreasing returns to scale, and then you could have a constant returns to scale. So for increasing returns to scale now, you're saying that if you increase all of your inputs by a particular percentage, your output increases by a percentage more than the rate at which all of your inputs have increased. So if you were to, let's say, um, double up the amount of input used, let's say you increase your input by 100%. So that means if you're using 40 of labor before, you're now using 80 of labor. So if you increase all of them by 100%, and then your output, happen to grow by 150%, your business is experiencing an increase in returns to scale. That's the point. Now the other way around is for decreasing returns to scale, where if you increase all of your inputs at a particular rate, so let's say 20%, and then your output only grows by 5%, so you're experiencing a decrease in returns to scale. Now, what then is going to be a constant returns to scale? This is saying that when all of the inputs are changed by a particular rate or percentage, and then the output changes by the same percentage, then there's a constant returns to scale. So if you were to like change capital labor and land by 30%, and then Q happens to change by 30% as well, so you have constant returns to scale. Now, the way you have them for increase is the way you have them for decrease. Right, so for constant returns to scale now, if you were to decrease all of your inputs used by 30%, we expect that your output drops by 30%. And then just apply that definition to the reverse of the increasing returns to scale and then decreasing returns to scale. Yeah, so how do you now know what returns to scale your business is experiencing if you have a Cobb-Douglas function? Now the issue there is that you sum up the exponents, you sum up the powers. If you sum up the powers on your capital labor and your land or whatever factor of production a question gives you. So what you then do is that if everything gives you one, then you're experiencing a constant returns to scale. Then if everything gives you a number lesser than one, you're experiencing a decreasing returns to scale. And if the sum of everything were to give you a number greater than one, of course, you're experiencing an increasing returns to scale. So what do we do here? When we add up the powers, 0.4 plus 0.2, 0.4 plus 0.2 plus 0.2, this gives us 0.8. So 0.8 is lesser than 1. So this is a decreasing returns to scale. So this business is experiencing a decreasing returns to scale, telling us that if this business has to raise all of its input by a particular percentage, output will grow by a percentage lesser than how all of the inputs have grown. So for the three of them, in case you come across an objective question, for the three of them, um, whenever you are doing an increase in input, they all have increments in output. So for increasing returns to scale, your increase in output is just greater than your increase in input. Yeah. And then I'm talking about in percentage terms. Now, even the one that is constant returns to scale, your increase in your input, right? All of your inputs will give you the same percentage increase in your output. So it is output is still increasing. Now, for decreasing returns to scale, that may want to make you think that, oh, this should be falling. It is not, right? So for decreasing in terms of scale, your output is still growing as well, just that it is growing at a lesser percentage than the rate at which all of your inputs have been made to increase. So that's about that. Yeah. So now we've answered the first question. There's no big calculation about that. Now the second question, which is now the big deal here, is saying that the business is already producing and is using this input combination, this factor, you can call them factor combination or input combination. So but then as a consultant that you are now, the very brilliant mind that you are, so is this the best that the business can do? So that's the question. So what do we do? We set up our Lagrangian function, yeah, and then from there we go on optimizing. So I'm going to have to rub off, I think, a part of, I think maybe the two anyway. So what we just need to note is that this guy is already using KLR, which is 100, 500, 1000, 100, 500, and 1000 and 1000. So, and then the prices, PK, PL, and PR, they are all 80, 12, and 10. Yeah, so just like that, those are the things that we should note. Then the TC, it says given a budget, that's their total cost. TC is 24,000. So with that, I think I may just have to erase the whole thing. Um, all right. So let's start. When we set up the Lagrangian function, so we have quantity equals what is it? This 50 k is power 0.4, L is power 0.2, R is power 0.2, then plus lambda into brackets the constraint. So we set up our, I've not even done that. So we are going to be having pk plus pl, no, sorry, pkk plus pll plus PRR equals to the budget, the total cost. So 80k plus PL 12L plus 10 R equals to 24,000. So just normal way we should work this stuff out. So let me just put my lambda here to contain it. So this is plus lambda into bracket, we'll be having 24,000 minus 80k minus 12L minus 10R. Another way this question might come is that instead of giving you the price of capital, they might just tell you that the rental rate on land, which is the price of land, is this amount. That is the rental rate of then for labor, the wage. Okay, laborer's wage is given as this, and then I think for capital should be rental rate on capital, rental rate on capital Then um how do I even put it now? Should it be rent and rent now? Maybe rental rate on capital, rental rate on land, and then wages paid to laborers. Something like that. Like you're going to really know. So just in case the question comes down. So when we from here now begin to do a partial differentiation. So I've said it in previous when you're doing partial differentiation, it's going to be a slanted D. So we do our DQ, DK first. That will give us at this stage, this shouldn't be difficult. 0.4 multiplied by 50, that's a quarter of 50. So you have 12.5 k raised per minus 0.6, L raised per 0.2, R raised per 0.2. Then there is k here. So when you differentiate this one, you have minus 80 lambda. This cannot be your first class in calculus. So if this is your first class, please you have to go back to know how to solve all of this. So like 0.2 multiplied by 50, that's 2 over 10. Yeah, 0.2 is 2 over 10. So 2 over 10 times 50. Um, that's 1 over 5 of 50, which is 10. So we're having 10 k raised power 0.4, L raised power minus 0.8, R raised power 0.2, and minus, when you differentiate with respect to L here, minus 12, and you have lambda, it's lambda. Then the Q, the R, 0.2 multiplies 50 again, so 10 k 0.4, L 0.2, and since they are differentiated with respect to R now, so R is one that is going to be 0.2 minus 1 minus 0.8, then minus 10 lambda, right? So the last one is now the Q, the lambda, and that's going to give us everything inside of this place 24,000 minus 80k minus 12L minus 10R. We've done classes on We've done a lot of classes on Cobb-Douglas functions, so I'm just not trying to like repeat myself. So if you don't know how we got some of these things, this should not be your first class in calculus. So you can just go back and look for the previous videos. All right. So for the first one, I got is it 12.5? I got 12.5 for the first one. So I guess that was a mistake. Okay, 4 over 10 times 50, 10 and 55. This should be 20. This first one is 20. All right. So from there, we can now say we can equate these ones. I can call this equation the one that we have here already. This is our equation one. I can call this one equation two. So this guy is equation three, and then from there is equation four, equation five, equation six, equation seven. So the next thing I'll just do from here is that set equation one, two, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 to 7 equal to 0. And so yeah, by the time we set equation 4 to equation 7 equal to 0, so equation 4 for example, it's only 80 lambda will just go to the other side. So we'll be having 20k minus 0.6, 20k minus 0.6, then L 0.2, R 0.2, this will be equal to 80 lambda. So when you set it equal to 0, 80 lambda goes to the other side. So it will equal to 80 lambda. Then the next one, this one, 10k 0.4, L minus 0.8 minus 0.8 and R 0.2 equals, so minus 12 lambda, all of this is equal to 0 minus 12 lambda. 12 lambda goes to the other side, 12 lambda. Then from there, 10k again, 10k 0.4, L 0.2, L 0.2, R minus 0.8 equals 10 lambda. And then the last guy, which is this 24,000, when you get out of this to zero, you get the constraint back. So you're just going to be having 80k plus 12L plus 10R equals to 24,000. Alright, so now that we are done with that, let me quickly verify. In case there is no error, 20k raised power minus 0.6, L is 0.2, R 0.2 is 80 lambda, 10k 0.4, L minus 0.8, R 0.2 is 12 lambda, then 10k 0.4, L 0.2, R 10 lambda, then alright. So what we just do from here is not add. So we don't need this guy again. So we divide. This is equation 7, so equation 8, equation 9, equation 10, equation 11. So let's divide equation 8 by 9. Divide equation 8 by equation 9. So when we are done with that, we can now divide and divide equation um I want it to be similar to what I have here. Divide equation. I can divide any of the equations though, or I just 6 by 7 because I've already done. Okay, it's what I have in my mind. And then divide equation 9 by equation 10. So how does that work? Equation 8 by equation 9. So you have 20k minus 0.6, L 0.2, R 0.2 equals 80 lambda. This will now divide equation 9, 10k 0.4, L minus 0.8, R 0.2 equals 12 lambda. Lambda cancels lambda. 10 here 1, 10 here 2. So you're left with just 2 here. 80 divided by 12, did that do that? Oh, yes, I just want to be sure because that will make it easy. That's 6.67. 80 divided by 12 is 6 point. So I'm left with 2k. The power of k here is minus 0.6. Division sign means minus, then 0.4. L here, the power of L here is 0.2. Division sign is a minus. But L is coming with a power of minus 0.8, so I have minus 0.8. And as for R, okay, power on R is the same thing here, so R cancels out. And then I'm left with 80 divided by 12 is 6.67. Yeah, 6.67. Okay, so from here, I can just divide by 2. If I divide all of this by 2, this goes out. Then my k, minus 0.6 minus 0.4 is minus 1. L equals 3.33. So from here, L equals 3.33k. So I can keep this somewhere. This is equation 12. Alright, I divide equation 9 by equation 10. So I have 10 k 0.4, L minus 0.8, R 0.2 equals 12 lambda to be divided by 10k 0.4, L 0.2, then R is power minus 0.8 equals 10 lambda. So let me be sure what I've written. 10k 0.4, L minus 0.8, R 0.2 equals 12 lambda. 10k 0.4, L 0.2, R minus 0. Okay. So from here, um, this is 10k 0.4, 10k 0.4. All of this can just take themselves and get out of this place. Lambda goes away. So I'm left with L and R. So this is going to be L minus 0.8 minus 0.2 and R 0.2 minus 0.8. Everything here gives me 1.2. So I have L raised power minus 1 then r raised to power 1 equals 1.2. All right. So from here, let me just kind of make r the subject. So if I make r the subject here, so I have r, this is r over l equals 1.2. So r equals 1.2 l. So I think here I should also make k the subject in this place. So if I make k the subject in this place, so I'll be having divide through by 3.33. So I'll be having L over 3.33 equals K. So K equals 0.3 L. Yeah. So with that, so I have K has been expressed in terms of L, and then R has also been expressed in terms of L. So I can just substitute. This is equation. Let me call this equation 13. Or if this was 13, then let me call this equation 14. So what I just have to do is substitute equation 13 and 14 in this final one here. Okay. Substitute equation 13. Substitute equation 13 and 14 in equation 11. In equation 11. So what is that going to give us? I have 80 into brackets. K has been expressed in terms of L. So I have 0.3 L. Right. Then plus 12L normally, then plus 10 into brackets 1.2L, everything is 24,000, right? So 80 times, this is 24, okay? This is 24L plus 12L plus 12L plus 24,000, right? So we'll be having 48L equals 24,000. So L here should be 500. Because normally, 24,000 divided by 24, that's 1,000. So like divided by, so L is 500. So, and if you look at it, this guy was using L of 500 too. Okay. So, is he optimizing? Let's see. Let's see. So L 500 workers. So you should have 500 workers or 500 units of labor. So for let's go and get K and the other guy. So K will be equal to 0.3 into brackets 500. That's like a quarter of 500. All right, 0.3 into bracket 500 is it's not to a quarter though. 150. So the answer here is one. Okay, this is 3 over 10 times 500. 10 here, 1. 10 500 is 50. Okay, yeah. So this is 150. So K is 150. So you should be using 150 units of capital. But here he's using only 100 units of capital. Okay, so that's already giving us an idea. Yeah, so for the last one, L equals 3.33K. So L, I think we found L, right? So we are looking for R. R equals 1.2 L. And L gave us 500. When you multiply this out, you have 600. So the quantity maximizing combination of inputs, maximizing combination of inputs is PLKLR equals 150, 500, and 600. And then we'll be able to see this. You see this from what do you call it now? You see this from the output produced. So initially, Q was 50 K raised power 0.4, L raised power 0.2, R raised power 0.2. So if you put what this guy was using before, the input combination, if you're having Q was 50 into bracket 100 raised power 0.4, then labor was 500, 500 raised power 0.2, then 600 raised power 0.2. The answer you are going to get, the output, you can try it. Output produced is going to be 4352.8. 4352.8. So approximately 4353 units. Okay, so that's what the guy would have produced. But now the output maximizing. So for Q max now, you have 50 into brackets. K is 150. Um, I think yeah, that was what we got, right? K is 150 into bracket 0.4. L is 500 into bracket 0.2. R is 600 into bracket 0.2. So the amount of output you are going to get from here is 4622. 4622 units. So the business on its own is actually doing pretty okay, but then it is falling short of about almost 300 units whenever it is producing. It's fall short of almost 300 units. That is, instead of it to produce 4622, it's only producing 435, just minus this, and then you get the balance. So that's the shortfall for every time this business is producing using this input combination, given these prices and given the total cost. Yeah, given the input prices, the total cost, right? And this particular input combination, this one, the business is about 300 units short of what it should be producing optimally. All right. So if you might be wondering that, okay, is this not supposed to be like a higher cost? Now, these values, 100, 500, and 1000, and this price, when you multiply them out, you get 24,000. Now, 100 times 80, 8,000. So like let's test run our TC. So normally our TC before maximization would be 80 price of capital multiplied by units of capital 100 plus price of labor, which is 12, multiplied by the units of labor 500, then plus price of land 10, multiplied by the units of land, which is 1000. When you do this, you get 24,000. This 80 times this is 8,000 plus 6,000, that's 14, plus 10,000, that's 24,000. Now look at the TC, where is making the best use of his total cost. So this is still 80 multiplied by 150 now, then plus 12 multiplied by 500, then plus what do you call it now? 10 multiplied by 600. 80 times 15. 15 times 2, 30. That's so this 12,000. So 12,000 plus 6,000, 18,000. 18,000 plus 6,000, 24,000. So you can see the same cost, but it's not doing the best. It's not doing the best. So with the same cost, yeah, it can produce something that is much more. All right, I would have said we should draw the graph, but then we can't draw the graph because we have three inputs. So your ISO cost and your ISO quant, they are used to represent, two inputs, okay, and how they affect output and then the total cost. So that's just basically the end of this video. There's no assignment, so you can just find more exercises like practice with and enjoy yourself, right? So if you have any questions, leave them in the comment section. If you like this video, subscribe to the channel and then share with your classmates, your friends, and so on and so forth. All right. Yeah. See you when I see you. A question. And yeah. I came across this textbook. I didn't write it anyway. Spotlight on Economics for it's actually for secondary school students, A level, polytechnic, and universities. And to be very honest, I am recommending it for students in 100 level. Basically, I've been going through the content of this book, and for God's sake, this is more than what a high school student needs. I was looking at the King Demand Curve. Look at the theory of costs and all of very very interesting things. Look at things like this. Looking at the profit, this perfect market, then and so on and so forth. So it's a really good book, yeah, and that's why I'm recommending it. If not, I wouldn't recommend it. Look at the authors, Oyenuga Adewale and Okonla Elisha. Yeah, so this is not my name. My name is Oluwole Godwin. So I just think as a 100 level student at least, you should get this book. It's not really very, it will not be like okay again when you're in 300 level and all of that. But then 100 and 200 level, like this book is really okay. It's more than what a high school student needs. And then if you're in high school, please just find a way around it. Just try to get it. Yeah, just I don't know. Just try to get it. So it is what it is. So that's that's that about that. See you in the next class. Yeah. Thank you very much. Have fun.